Shanjina is a prostitute working in one of the largest brothels in the country. Like most girls working here, she claims to be 18. Despite the heavy makeup and the high heels, Shanjina still appears to be in her early teens.
Customers like young girls. A lot of girls take this drug, especially the young ones. It makes us look more developed than we are, and the customers like us to have a bit more curves.
Oradexon is a steroid commonly used to fatten cattle. The drug increases body mass. In the brothels, it is used on humans. Young and malnourished sex workers use the drug to make themselves look plumper and attract more customers. The risk is considerable.
That they're entering at the brothel at 12, at 13. So at that time, their body is not much grown up. So to grow up quickly, they started, consuming this type of steroids. The orodaxin, it damages the kidney, the skeletal system, the other body system too. Bones are damaged over time. The infection may go out of control, and eventually they may die.
The drug is said to be a highly addictive steroid, and according to the global poverty fighting agency ActionAid, 90% of the girls in brothels are using it. Despite the known health consequences that this drug has on sex workers, Oradexon is still readily made available to the public and is sold in pharmacies. And as long as men want to pay for sex with young, plump-looking girls, this drug will find its way into the brothels. Women who run brothels, known as madams, are at the center of the trade. They buy these young girls from their family for the equivalent of $200. In exchange, the girls work as sex slaves for as long as the madam can make a profit.
I have 2 girls working for me. They make around $1 per customer. They need to see a lot of customers for us to break even. Usually the young, chubby ones are more profitable. They make the most money.
I tried to speak to Yasmin to ask her if she was using the drug, but we were interrupted by her madam. A customer appears to be waiting.
Sometimes it's not even by choice. She's forced to do this. If she doesn't take the medicine, she's beaten up. If she doesn't get X number of clients, she's tortured, physically tortured. She's forced into situations. So it's not a very congenial working environment, to say the least.
800 girls work around the clock to receive customers like Hassan. They are the ones dictating the demand and the price for sex.
I like them chubby, a bit like this one. But if she was a bit fatter, I would pay a higher price.
To solicit sex for money is forbidden by Bangladeshi law, but no one is here to enforce it. No one will stop the next customer from stepping into Shanjina's room, and as long as she looks the part, her age is irrelevant. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Tangail, northern Bangladesh.
Dr. Shireen Sharmin Chaudhry joins me now on the line from Dhaka. She's the State Minister at the Ministry for Women and Children's Affairs in Bangladesh. Thank you for joining us live on Al Jazeera, Minister. It's worrying enough that child prostitution could be allowed to happen in any country, let alone Bangladesh. It's even more worrying that these particular individuals are being told to use drugs to make them more attractive to the client. What's your government doing about it?
There's very little scope under the law for allowing child prostitution because underage girls who are below the age of 18 years are considered children, and there's no scope for them to get into this profession.
But there is an issue here, isn't there?
The law enforcers can take action, yes, and the law can be, implemented to prevent this.
Indeed, in Bangladesh there are 17 legally licensed brothels. So I want to know how you actually monitor them, because they come under your jurisdiction.
Yes, the way it goes is actually the constitution of Bangladesh discourages this prostitution, and the government is trying to find, alternative occupation or employment for them, and for rehabilitating them, because in most cases they go into this out of poverty and other socioeconomic factors. So providing alternative employment opportunities. In consultation with them is one way to bring them out of this profession and discourage this.
Isn't it rather embarrassing, though, for Bangladesh to have this sort of incident highlighted when you as a country work very hard to make sure that there are no underage workers working in the garment sector, because your garment exports, for example, are bought by Western countries and you wouldn't want to jeopardize that. But yet, in another field of Bangladesh's social life, you have such young people being victims of prostitution to a certain extent, or even brothels, and not being monitored, not being looked after or cared for by the state.
No, I will not say that the state is unmindful of this, but we are taking measures to prevent young girls from going into this profession, because we are trying to address the whole problem from a more holistic approach.
What measures?
And poverty alleviation is
Minister,
one
what
of the
measures are you
major
taking?
issues.
I don't mean to interrupt, but what measures are you taking? You just mentioned you're taking measures. What measures?
We are talking to the network organizations who are trying to help the sex workers to protect their human rights, and in consultation with them, steps will be taken to help them.
9 years ago, the Centre for Health and Population Research, and I have part of the report here that I've been reading, wrote a report with the support of the Bangladeshi government and several NGOs talking about female human trafficking and child prostitution. That's a report that was done 9 years ago, and it seems that very little has happened. There have been various other reports by NGOs. Is that all that the Bangladesh government can really do, is just read reports and leave them on the desk? Don't you think more needs to be done?
Of course, in case of trafficking, the very law is being implemented in a very severe manner, and we are taking steps discussing how the regional methods can also be strengthened to stop this cross-border, trafficking issues of children and women. And not only that, even women who have been trafficked, and when they have been, rescued back or they have come back, there is a lot of initiatives that are being taken to rehabilitate them and to bring them into the mainstream and try to generate employment opportunities for them. And Cafe Mukti is one such initiative where the trafficked victim women have been rehabilitated through this process.
Well,
so a lot of work is actually being done in Bangladesh, and the present government has come into power in December 2008, so it's been only about 1.5 years.
Indeed.
So
Well,
we are taking all necessary measures to protect the human rights.
Well, we shall certainly keep an eye on this story, and we really do appreciate your time for joining us on Al Jazeera. Thank you, Dr. Chowdhury from Dhaka. Thank you.
Thank you.